Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey. I am a knitwear designer from the southwest of France, and this is a podcast where I share all about my fibery creations. Thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you are doing very well. I am. This will be the last podcast, a proper podcast episode of 2021. It's hard to say. 2021. 2020, we got robbed of a year that was so easy to say. 2020. Anyway. Already on a tangent. I just filmed the French version of this podcast, and oh man, is it a mess. But... This will be the last proper podcast of the year, because in December I will, I did last year and like many other makers, do little vlogs, like Vlogmas videos. I will talk about that more at the end. But yeah, so last podcast of the year, we have a lot of things. I have a lot of things. It's gonna be like a little bit of throwing everything on top of you. For this episode, but we have a light situation that's a bit dodgy. Sorry, it's like 10 a.m. now and it's still night basically. But yes, so I also try to have like a different angle to try and catch a better light. I think it kind of works. And you can also see that I have other issues of hoarding besides yarn. And if you are annoyed by this, I know some people don't like seeing books stacked in an unnatural way. These are the books I have to read yet. And they're like this because they're punished until I actually read them. And then I place them nicely somewhere else in the house. But yes. So, besides that, I am going to start... the podcast. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below. So if you want to skip anything or find any project in particular, feel free to have a look. I also put links to everything that I talk about, my social media and my patterns for sale on Ravelry, Payhip, Lovecrafts, etc. So I'm going to start with a couple new designs that I have to show you. And the first one is this bright lime number, and I love this color so much. So these are the Atlantica socks, which are now available on my shops, and these are the sock version of the Atlantica sweater, which was an all-over lace pullover, and this is now available on a little sock. So basically the story behind this is that my friend Deborah, which is the dyer behind Les Petites Potions, she's a French indie dyer, she, at the same time as I did, we both had the idea of making socks. Like, she wanted socks with the lace from Atlantica, I wanted socks with the lace from Atlantica, and so we had this idea at the same time. And so I decided that I might as well pick yarn from her beautiful colorways, and so I picked this one. So this is her sock base, merino nylon, and this is the colorway lichen. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. I always forget. Lichen? I don't know. The foam thingy in the green foam in the woods, and it's like this bright lime yellowy green. It's so beautiful and it's so cheerful. I basically was choosing this color and started designing the socks in the summer, and I knew I would release them in December, and I thought that it would be really cool to have like a bright, like something bright for the beginning of the more wintry seasons where it's all rainy and dark. And yeah, so this is why I picked this color. And basically these are knitted cuff down with twisted ribbing. In the pattern you have instructions for 2 different heels, so you can either do a heel flap and gusset like I did here, or you also have instructions on how to do a German short row heel. If you want to do any heel, you can. It's just that the pattern includes these 2 if you need them. And then you have like stockinette on the back and on the sole, and on the front you have this lace panel. So it's the same one that in the sweater. It's just that these cables here on the sides are mirrored. And so it's a twisted lace, a twisted stitch lace with some bubbles. And I think it looks so good in a tiny gauge like this. So nice. So this is rather easy to knit. It's not the most intuitive lace because when you start, basically, the way the decreases are placed, the twisted ribbing bits that are here, basically, they're offset on the chart. So it can be a little bit unsettling at the beginning, but once you've done a few rows, you can clearly see where things are. You see, it gets quite intuitive. I had many testers do it, even though they were not super confident lace-wise, and they did a fantastic job. And yeah, so the instructions are charted. You have different charts for each size because I wanted the lace to be always on the top of on the front of the leg and on the top of the foot, and to occupy all of it. And so each size has a slightly wider chart for that. And yes, in the pattern there is a video tutorial for the bubble method I use. And yes, regarding bubbles, because people tend to ask, how is it to wear socks with bubbles in shoes? It really depends on what kind of shoes you wear, how you wear them. Personally, I don't mind because I wear most of my socks indoors. If I'm gonna wear shoes, it means I'm gonna be out and walking, and I run hot easily, so I don't really need woolen socks outside. It's not cold enough where I live for this. So I wear my socks indoors, so bubbles or not, it doesn't matter. And then it depends on the type of shoes you wear. I tried them on with some boots, and this was fine. Then I tried them on with some, I have like city-like shoes. We call them derbies. I think it's an English word, but I'm not sure you use, because sometimes in French we use English words that are not at all related to, like, it's not at all how you call them in English, so it's a little bit. Yeah, it's small shoes that basically stop at the beginning of the ankle, and the problem is they're quite stiff shoes, and the edge of it is right on the bubble. And so that was a bit uncomfortable. So it depends on the shoes, depends how you wear it. These types of bubbles, the way I do them, they're rather small and squishy, so I say you're better off than with other more bigger bubbles. But you could also do them without the bubbles, obviously, but I just thought they were really fun. I absolutely love making funny socks with motifs and etc. I say it every time I do one, but I just think it's so fun because you get to learn something, you get to experiment, and it's on a small scale. So if you were afraid of making the Atlantica sweater because you weren't confident that the lace would be for you, well, you can try it on a small project. You know, it works with mittens, it works with hats. You know, some people like if you want to knit like intricate cables or big lace, etc., but you don't really want to commit to a full-size shawl or a sweater. I think these smaller projects are really fun to have, and for me, my personal favorite small project are socks. So that's why I really love to make socks with textures and all. So yeah, these are available on Ravelry and Payhip, and yeah, if you like them, you can have a look. They are 15% off for the release with the code. So it should be Atlan Socks. That will give you 15% off for the release on Ravelry until this Sunday. So yeah, I think I said all. And I'm going to continue with lace socks because it's a thing. I have another pattern of lace socks to show you. This is a pattern that was published in a French knitting magazine a few months ago, which was called Slow, this Slow with 2 O magazine. And basically it's an independent French magazine that published a few independent designs, and I did publish in this magazine these socks, which are the Agrippa socks, which are also a lace socks pattern. And it starts with the picot cuff here, and it has this lace motif, which is much simpler than the Atlantica one, and it has these curves made with symbol decreases, and in the center you have like a diamond shape of twisted stitches. Yeah. And in this one you have the lace also on the back of the leg and ribbing on the side. So yeah, these are nice little preppy socks. They were available on the magazine, and now I released them individually and I translated them into English because they were only available in French in the magazine. Well, now they are out on Ravelry Payhip. You can buy them individually and have the instructions in English as well. So yeah, I knitted them with Squirrel Yarns, which is a French indie dyer in the color Lima, which is like a beautiful, beautiful blue. Yeah. I think that's it. I feel like I don't have much to say. You will see. I feel like I don't have a lot to say on the projects that I'm sharing with you this time. I don't know why. But yeah, that's it for now for the patterns I have to present to you. And I also wanted to show you a personal finished project, which is the sweater that I'm wearing, which is the Cercis pullover by Marie-Amélie. So Marie-Amélie Designs is a French designer, but she designs in English as well. And this is a lovely, lovely little sweater, which is knitted top down, so it's a raglan. And you do some short rows to curve the neck here, and you have this lovely lace motif, which you can see here, which is on the sleeves, but also like basically on the entire outer portion of the body. This is something that I love about Marie-Amélie's work, is that she's going to use a motif, yes, but she's always going to place it in an interesting way. Like you see, you're thinking, I'm going to put lace on sleeves. Like, well, you just put lace on sleeves. But no, what she did is that it's offsetted a bit. So you see, it's not just there, the lace. It's actually over in the body, and which means it's like this whole side. And I think it looks really nice and really elegant, and it's really fun. And so it's a fingering weight sweater. You can adjust the sleeve length however much you want. The pattern includes instruction on how to make a short sleeve, elbow length sleeve, or long sleeves. I wanted 3/4 length sleeve, but it's really easy to adapt because the length of one lace repeat is like this approximately, so you can do whatever you want. I didn't have the right row gauge, but I ended up making 9 repeats in the sleeves before making the little cuff, which is like 1 by 1 ribbing. I have fluff everywhere. But yeah, and yeah, so I used a BFL yarn, which is yarn from Les Petites Potions again, in her Until colorway, which is not as blue. It's actually like a deep green, but it really is hard to find on camera. And it draped a little bit more than I thought it would. That's my fault. And so it's a bit longer than intended, but that's okay, because this way I will be able to wear it with pants that are not as high-waisted as I wish they were, or I'll just tuck them in, which is what I usually do with sweaters that are a bit too long. But yeah, you can see the lace. it's really nice and comfy. Yeah, it's gonna be lots of fun to wear in the next year for spring, I think. And yeah, so that's it. See, I don't have much to say. It was really fun and easy to knit. The lace is very intuitive because it's shaped like a triangle, so you know where you must do the decrease, you know where you must do the eyelets, the yarn overs, and yeah. I started knitting this at the end of August and ended up finishing it now. And I really like how it looks. Yeah, like I said, the color is more, it's green. It's not that blue. And I would like to take some pictures next once I finish recording. But I really hope I'm gonna get the color right. And I don't know. And also I wanted to show you that I started the two projects about at the same time. And I just thought that these two, keep in mind that this is more green, I think they look fantastic together. At some point I'm gonna have to make a colourwork design with those two. But yeah, this is really nice and very preppy looking, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. I'm going to move on to a work in progress, which is a new design. It's the last design that I will be properly working on for the year, because I'll tell you more later, but basically I'm gonna take a few weeks of holiday all over December, basically starting next week. But now, before that, what I'm working on is a new design that is a collaboration with Laines and Co, which is a French truck yarn shop. Basically, they're on a truck, so they move around Normandy, I think. And yeah, she wrote to me a few months, like a while ago, asking if I would like to make a design for some of the yarns that she carries in her shop. And yeah, so we ended up deciding to make a design on the Schoppel Wolle Lino yarn. So this is a blend of 80% wool and 15% linen. And I really like it. The thing with blending linen is that it doesn't blend perfectly, so you have all the little bits and pieces here of linen that are poking out, and basically, since it also doesn't take the color the same, it has this heathered look, which is really fun. Yeah. And I've tried other wool linen blends before, and this one is super soft. I find like the other one can be, you can feel a little bit the bits of linen, and so if you're ticklish, it can bother you. But this one I find is really, really soft. And basically the design idea that I had is also with lace on the sleeves, but I wanted to make like a spring. This is gonna be a spring design. I wanted to make a spring-like little cardigan, which would be V-neck, buttoned, with lace flowy sleeves and 2 pockets of lace in the fronts. And so this is, I had a hard time finding the right lace that I wanted to use, because it had to look good in the pocket and it had to look good in the sleeves. Difficult. And I ended up picking this motif, which I really, really like. It's really fun to knit because you just follow the lines that you create. And it's really nice. Like this twisted stitches thing. And so this is not just a sample. These are pockets that I plan to put, basically, there's going to be the cardigan, and I plan to attach pockets at the fronts here. I don't know if I'm gonna make the 2 yet. I knitted 2, but maybe I'll only place 1. I don't know. Where is the other one? I lost one. Oh, it's here. I will see how it looks at the end, if I want the 2 pockets or just the 1. I'll see. I will film a tutorial seaming the pockets on the cardigan, and at the moment I will decide what I do. But the rest of the cardigan shape is going to be basically a buttoned V-neck raglan. So I have done quite a bit already because I'm on the body. And so this is how it looks like, and you can see that I have repeated the lace motif on the sleeves. This is how the sleeve looks. My raglans are garter stitch. At first I just made normal stockinette raglans, but then I want all of the, like the button band, the neckband, and all the edgings to be in garter stitch. I will go for a very small needle size so that I have a tight garter. And so I thought it would look weird not to take the opportunity to have the raglans be garter as well. So that's what I did. And yeah, basically you have a V-neck shaping here, and you will have a button band here at the center with big buttons to close it, and one pocket on one side, or the two pockets. But yeah, and I want the sleeves to be loose. I will see how it goes. Maybe I'm gonna change my mind, but I would like the sleeves to be pretty flowy and stop like around just before the elbow. That's my intention, but we'll see how I feel. Basically, I have an image of how I want it to flow, and I will have to check if it works once the cardigan is all done and buttoned. But yeah, this is, I think it will be named Poecile, which is the Latin name for little birds. Certain type of birds whose name escapes me in English. But I think of birds because of how I sort of see it flowing with the lace and everything. We will see. I can't wait to finish it and to like try on and see where the pockets could fit. And yeah, because if I'm trying to position one pocket, and I do want the pockets to be pretty big and wide. So I will have to grade them as well accordingly for the different sizes. But you see, I do want them to be big. So I don't know if 2 might be too much. We'll see. We will see how this looks. Obviously this is too high, but you know. And yeah, so this will probably be for April, end of April next year. I just want to finish the sample, and then I will take care of working on the design, writing it, grading it, sending out to testers in the new year. But I do want to finish the sample this week before I take some time off. So yes, this is my current work in progress, and I also finally have to talk about a new design that is made for Patreon. So I have a Patreon page. Hey. We're back into, okay, it's December, it's promo time. Oh god. I have a Patreon page where you can support my work, and you can also get several different things. Basically, you have 3 levels. One is €2, one is 5, one is 10. The €2 is just for general support and occasional surprises, including this one. And from the €5 level and up, you have 1 or 2, 1 for €5, 2 for €10, codes which allow you to get any of my designs that I sell individually myself on Ravelry. So this is another way for you to buy a pattern, basically. And the advantage you get by getting on Patreon is that from the 2nd level, you also get access to some videos that I do, 1 video per month, monthly, which are either discussions on different knitting techniques, yarn reviews, some behind the scenes vlogs, creations of certain designs. And these videos are recorded in French, but I subtitle them in English. And anyway, I also wanted for the end of the year to have a little gift for my Patreons, and so I designed these mitts. So these are the Carousel mitts. So they're fingerless mitts, which are really easy to knit and basic. They are knitted in DK weight. I used Fonty Tartan 3, which is the French yarn, which is really, really lovely, soft and really drapey DK weight for a woolly blend. And I knitted these at a rather dense gauge because I prefer to have a dense gauge for hand accessories so that they can endure wear. These are for my mother. She wanted something to keep her hands warm, and she also needs to keep typing, so that's why they're fingerless. And the contrast color is from Laine Vilaine, which is another fun word. She's a French indie dyer, and this is her tomato throwing colorway, which is kind of funny, this like pinkish red. And so these mitts are basically with long colourwork cuffs. And you can see they're a bit bigger. Well, it's okay, but I prefer my mittens to be rather snug. But these are slightly bigger because my mother does have, she has shorter hands, but they're a bit bigger. And yeah, so this is how they look. And so this is one of the colourwork motif, because the pattern has 4 different motifs to choose from. So these are like a watery colourwork design with the little waves. Then there is one that is more autumnal with leaves, one that is geometrical, and one that is flowery. And they're all in the pattern basically, so you can put it in your mittens. You can also easily use them on a hat, maybe on socks. They're 12 stitch repeat. So yeah, the pattern is available to all my patrons. So starting level 1, basically when you join Patreon is like a blog, so you have different posts with the different things and announcements and benefits. And so when you see this podcast, it's not up yet, but in a few days there will be a post with, normally on Sunday, there will be a post with the pattern attached PDF, and it will be available for the first level, so for €2. And yeah, so if you want the pattern, you just come in, you take the pattern, and you can leave. Patreon does not have any requirements for you to stay X month. You can unsubscribe, just stay for 1 month and then subscribe immediately, and it works. And yeah, so this is available to all Patreons, and for Patreons starting the second level, so from €5, you have the video that accompanies it. Basically, it's a little video where, it's not little, it's actually 1 hour long. It's a video with where I show you step by step the knitting of these mittens, and basically I just recapped a lot of different knitting tips for these. This is why I chose to be mittens, because often when I have a mittens design, I know that people are wary of knitting mittens if they're not used to it. So I thought it would be interesting to have this video on Patreon, which shows step by step. And it has lots of I talk about a lot of different things, stretchy cast on, really stretchy, how to space your stitches, knitting colourwork in small circumferences, color dominance, how to loosen your floats on the back, how to catch your floats, how to set up a thumb gusset, stretchy bind off in the round, and how to pick up stitches to knit a thumb. So basically I talk about all of this in this video, and yeah. So that is the content for Patreon for this month. I just wanted to tell you so that you know that if you see these mittens around, and I think they're really cool for gift knitting. So in case you want them, basically they're at the €2 level on Patreon, and you can just come and get them from the post that will be up starting Sunday, 5th of December. Yeah. And yeah. So these are the little mitts that I designed as a gift for Patreon. And moving on to announcements. Basically, I will be on holidays for the rest of December. So starting next week, I will not be doing a lot of my regular work, which is I will not be pattern writing or grading or starting tests or anything. I will also prepare a lot of my social media content. So basically, if you see anything you see me posting on Instagram is all fake and I'm not here because I planned it ahead. But no, I'm here. I will not plan everything, but I will plan a lot of things. That way I can take some time off and rest with hopefully my partner who's supposed to come around. We'll see if he can make it. Well, he's gonna come here to work because he doesn't technically have days off. So, but we'll see if he can cross borders with the things that starts with a C, how it goes. But yes, hopefully. But basically, yeah, I will be pretty much off. I have an idea for a colourwork scarf that I've been wanting to knit for a while, and so I think I will take the opportunity to knit it, and it will probably become a pattern at some point, but I will just take care of that later in the new year. I will be available to answer pattern questions, obviously, or test related questions, of course. I just might be a bit slow around the new year, but that's it. Should be around here and just chilling, which is the occasion for me to do Vlogmas. So I plan to do in December the little Vlogmas like I did last year. So Vlogmas, if you don't know, it's like little vlogs that people who make YouTube videos usually do. Basically, it's just sharing our festive preparations or just our months of December to sort of share joy and be cheerful and etc. And so yeah, I did it last year and I really enjoyed doing it. So I'm gonna try to do it again. Basically what I do is I do short music videos where I don't speak. So if you're tired of me blabbering, that's for you. And basically, so yeah, they're just short videos where I don't speak. It's just snippets of my crafts, snippets of my nature around, if it's decent to look at, snippets of me probably not managing to read all of these quickly enough, and also food, my pets being idiots. Vlogmas will be a little bit more peaceful and quiet, and I just really like the creative aspect of putting little moments together, choosing a music, etc. So I will do this. The way I do it is I do 2 days. So basically this podcast will be available like on the 1st in the evening for me. But basically I will film 1st and 2nd of December and publish it on the 3rd, film 3, 4, publish it on the 5th, etc. This is how I will do. I don't know, maybe there will be some days that will be skipped. I'm just pretty relaxed. Like I said, I'm on the holidays. So this is pretty much the only content I will be putting out in December. And yeah, this means that I also wanted to make a little announcement in advance, because if you know, you may not, but I usually like to have a free pattern out every year. I really like doing this because, well, I do gifts for my Patreons and I like to do gifts for everyone. Yay me! It sounds like I'm... No, I just mean that I think it's important to have some free pattern available. As a designer, for me, it's interesting because it lets people know how I write my patterns, right? And since we all work so differently, we all have so many different logics. Some people like more minimalistic instructions, some people like more hand-holding, and some people like in between. And I think it's nice that people can get a sample of how I write my patterns. So this year there will be a free pattern as well. It's coming out on mid-December, December 17th, I think. Yeah, 17th. I will try to make a nod to it on the Vlogmas so that you know that it's available, but if not, you should just have a look around on Instagram or Ravelry and pay hip on the 17th. And basically it's gonna be a decay weight, a basic pullover, sweater, stockinette, and top down, round neck, etc. And yeah, it's I hope you will enjoy it. And that's it. I will also have a surprise at the end of the month, like in the 24th, 25th. I participated in a project that will come out for the Christmas day in France, and basically at the same time the pattern will also be released individually. So it's a new pattern that is a surprise and that will be there in December, on December like 24 to 26, somewhere around there. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I said everything. I will see you again in a regular podcast episode in January, where I will have, again, probably lots of things to just throw on top of you and splurge. But yeah, in the meantime, if you would like to watch the little vlogmases, I hope you will enjoy them. And yeah, I wish you a very happy end of the year. Stay safe. And I hope you have a lovely holiday, a lovely passing of the new year, and yeah, have a nice rest of the day, evening, whenever it is when you're watching this, and I will see you next time. Bye!